In the freezing winter of 1976, a sleek new supersonic passenger jet took off for its very first commercial flight across the vast Atlantic Ocean. The proud governments of Britain and France had spent an astronomical $2.8 billion of taxpayer money to bring this spectacular aviation dream to life. But long before the first affluent passenger ever boarded the plane, top global economists already knew that the entire project would never make a single dollar. Yet the powerful national leaders could not stop their project because they were trapped by a strange mental flaw that forces smart individuals to make terrible financial choices. Psychologists call this specific self-sabotaging mental trap the Concorde Effect, and it explains why you stay in bad situations just because of past investments. Before we explore the deepest and most dangerous part of this dark psychological trap, let us first see why your own brain falls for it daily. I break down one deep behavioral concept per video in plain language, so if you want to make better financial choices, please subscribe right now. Think about the last time you sat through a truly awful movie at the local cinema, simply because you had already paid for the expensive ticket. A famous academic study by researchers Hal Arkes and Catherine Blumer in 1985 proved that humans hold on to bad investments out of sheer pride. They found that people who paid full price for theater tickets went to more plays than those who received an unexpected cheap discount on their purchase. This happens because your complex brain experiences intense emotional pain whenever you must admit that you wasted your hard-earned cash or your precious time. The legendary Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman proved that the psychological pain of losing money is twice as powerful as the joy of gaining it. But here is the part that researchers themselves found shocking when they looked at how younger children deal with this exact same difficult choice. Young kids and simple animals do not care about past losses, which means adult humans are actually far less rational than birds or tiny toddlers. We overgeneralize the logical rule to never waste things, and that makes us throw good money after bad money to justify our old mistakes. Massive global corporations know this secret flaw exists, and they design clever traps to make you spend more cash without thinking twice about it. Think of online stores that give you free shipping only after you spend an extra $50 on useless items you do not need. Stay with me, because what I am about to show you in the next 2 minutes will change how you look at your life completely. You might be stuck in a bad job or a failing relationship right now just because you invested years of your youth there. The money or time you spent yesterday is gone forever, and you can never get it back, no matter what you choose to do today. To break free from this painful trap, you must build what expert project managers call a firm tripwire rule before you start anything new. You should also let a neutral friend look at your choices, because someone with no skin in the game sees the truth clearly. So let us pull this together and remember that real success means knowing when to stop instead of chasing a lost cause forever. Share this video with one person who needs to hear this truth, because one good conversation can change how they see their future. Let us examine another massive historical disaster where the exact same psychological trap destroyed millions of dollars and ruined multiple corporate careers overnight. In the late 1990s, a massive telecommunications company decided to build a state-of-the-art fiber optic network across the country. They projected that the demand for high-speed data would explode exponentially, justifying the massive initial investment they were making every single month. Halfway through the construction phase, a brand new technological innovation emerged that made their specific network architecture completely obsolete and practically useless. Instead of halting the project immediately to minimize their losses, the executive board voted to spend another $400 million to finish it. They could not bear the thought of telling their shareholders that the first $500 million was completely wasted without any return. This irrational behavior is driven by the intense fear of regret, which psychologists note is one of the strongest human emotions we experience. When you refuse to walk away from a failing venture, you are essentially paying a premium to delay the painful realization of failure. Think about how this applies to your personal stock portfolio when you refuse to sell a losing share that keeps dropping every day. You tell yourself that it is not a real loss until you sell it, which is a classic symptom of mental accounting bias. By holding on to that falling asset, you miss out on much better opportunities that could actually help you recover your financial position quickly. Professional Wall Street traders are trained rigorously to combat this emotional bias by using automated stop-loss orders on every single trade. They remove the human element entirely from the decision-making process, because they know the human brain cannot be trusted with loss. Now consider how major streaming entertainment platforms use this psychological vulnerability to keep your eyes glued to the television screen for hours. They introduce the autoplay feature, which automatically starts the next episode before you can rationally decide if you want to keep watching. You feel that since you already invested 40 minutes watching the previous episode, you might as well finish the entire storyline tonight. This subtle manipulation tactic creates a continuous loop of sunk costs, where your time is systematically harvested for advertising revenue by big tech. The absolute best way to defend yourself against these corporate traps is to recognize the emotional trigger before you make a decision. When you feel that internal resistance to letting go, ask yourself if you would choose this current path today if you started fresh. If the honest answer to that question is no, then you are actively operating under the dangerous influence of the sunk cost fallacy. Remember that true emotional intelligence involves accepting that the past is unchangeable, while your future remains completely within your direct control right now. Let us shift our focus to a different type of expensive mistake that happens when smart people rely too heavily on historic numbers. In the year 2008, sophisticated quantitative models used by massive Wall Street banks completely failed to predict the housing market crash. The brilliant mathematicians who built these complex systems assumed that future trends would always mirror the stable data of the past 3 decades. They suffered from what Nassim Nicholas Taleb calls the black swan blindness, which is the inability to anticipate rare and high-impact events. When the unexpected crisis hit the global economy, these multi-billion-dollar institutions collapsed because they had no backup plan for the unknown. This highlights a profound psychological truth that our brains crave certainty so much that we gladly accept dangerous illusions of safety every day. You see this when individuals invest their entire life savings into a single traditional industry because it has always been stable before. They mistake past performance for a guaranteed future promise, ignoring the rapid changes that modern technology brings to the global workplace landscape. To protect your hard-earned wealth from these systemic blind spots, diversification must become your primary guiding rule for long-term survival. Never let your emotional attachment to a familiar brand or a comfortable routine prevent you from preparing for unexpected economic shifts around you. The most successful individuals in the world are not those who never make mistakes, but those who pivot the fastest when proven wrong. They view every single financial loss not as a personal failure, but as a highly valuable lesson that refines their future strategic choices. By shifting your mindset from emotional regret to objective analysis, you effectively disarm the psychological traps that keep most regular people broke. Take a deep breath, review your current commitments today, and courageously cut ties with whatever project is no longer serving your highest goals.